Now, after Monday Night Football and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Riverside Park reopens after a chemical leak.
State Representative-elect A.J. Louderback files a bill to stop hostile foreign nationals from getting school district tax breaks.
Victoria's Office of Emergency Management releases its report on last week's plane crash.
And we're looking at tonight's low temperatures in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, another warm day in the 80s, but there's hope that we'll get back to more regular December weather by the end of the week. We'll have all that coming up in a moment.
And the Ganado Indians look to make history versus the Stanford Bulldogs this Thursday afternoon. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now after Monday Night Football. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Don Brubaker. Riverside Park is reopened to the public at 11:15 this morning. The park was closed due to a hazmat incident when a soil shift caused a disinfection line to break, leading to a brief chlorine dioxide leak that ignited a small grass fire. Emergency workers evacuated and secured the park between Grover's Bend and the park's building. No one was hurt or exposed. Water service remains unaffected. TCEQ Corpus Christi responded to the incident. The city reported to TCEQ that the broken gas line is isolated downstream and upstream.
Victoria's Office of Emergency Management gives a full report on its response to last week's plane crash. The report shared at today's Commissioners Court meeting showed the pilot reported a loss of fuel emergency on the plane's return to Victoria after flying for nearly 5 hours. The pilot made a distress call when he realized that he couldn't make it back to the Victoria Regional Airport, just 2 to 3 miles from the crash site. Victoria Regional Airport manager said the NTSB and FAA should be issuing preliminary reports this week, with the official reports taking nearly a year to complete. The full report from Victoria's Office of Emergency Management is available on our website, crossroadstoday.com. A Jackson County grand jury indicts a former Edna ISD teacher. Authorities arrested Logan O'Connor on September 16th on allegations of improper relationship between an educator and student, sexual performance of a child, and online solicitation of a minor. District administrators placed O'Connor on leave when they became aware of those allegations. He then resigned shortly after his arrest. O'Connor graduated from Edna High School in 2015 and worked for the district since 2020 as an Edna elementary teacher and a high school varsity coach. He is also the son of Edna ISD Superintendent Robert O'Connor. Well, Calhoun County is now under new leadership after the late Judge Richard Meyer died unexpectedly last month.
The Calhoun County Commissioners Court appointed a new county judge and Precinct 2 commissioner this past Friday. 25 News Now reporter Trent Whiting met with those appointees today and joins us with more details. Trenton?
Don, Shauna, thank you. Calhoun County is still mourning the loss of the late Judge Richard Meyer, but they now know the plan to move forward. On Friday, Commissioners Court appointed former Precinct 2 Commissioner Vern Lissy to the county judge seat. Lissy says he worked closely with Meyer throughout his 18 years as commissioner. He says the loss has been difficult. He hadn't entered Meyer's office since his passing until today, his first day in that position. He says that he and the commissioners will keep Meyer's legacy alive.
The commissioners, we didn't decide who was going to step up. We decided how we're going to move this county forward. This is kind of a bittersweet deal, but we plan on carrying on his legacy and moving forward.
A man who worked closely with Lissy, Richard Best, will take over as commissioner of Precinct 2. He is a longtime resident there, and the two new appointees had high praise for each other. Best says that Judge Lissy has been a mentor in his life, and they are both eager to move the county forward without missing a beat after Meyer's passing.
Professionally, I've been with him for 18 years with him, and he was great to work for. Personally, kind of a father figure, taught me a lot just to get me ready for this position.
The appointments were facilitated by former District Attorney Shannon Salyer, who briefly took the county judge position on Friday as part of the appointment process. Judge Lissy and Commissioner Best will finish their unexpired terms for each position. They'll both be back up for re-election in 2026. Shauna, Dawn, back to you.
Trent, thank you. State Representative-elect District 30 A.J. Louderback filed a bill to prevent hostile foreign nationals from getting school district tax breaks. The bill ensures that citizens and companies from hostile foreign countries do not abuse Texas economic development incentives. The bill lists China, Russia, and Iran as hostile foreign nations. This is the fourth bill Louderback pre-filed for the 89th legislative session. Dustin Burrows is walking a tightrope, seeking Republican and Democrat support for his Texas House Speaker bid. The Texas Tribune reports Burrows is the chosen pick of establishment and moderate GOP lawmakers after Dade Phelan left the race earlier this month. The State House Republicans' preferred candidate is Representative David Cook. He became the House GOP caucus's Speaker nominee after some of Burrows' supporters walked out of the caucus's meeting last weekend. Burrows no longer has enough public supporters to win.
Washington, D.C. is once again facing a potential government shutdown. With a Friday deadline, funding for farmers has caused a stalemate. Both Republican and Democratic aides say they believe Congress will be able to come to an agreement that keeps the government running through March 2025. However, right now, the bill on the table does not have additional assistance for the agriculture world. That could cause voting problems with lawmakers in farm-heavy states and is causing partisan bickering. The matter is currently being hashed out by House Speaker Mike Johnson, Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
A show of unity among community faith leaders today, a blessing at the Humility Project's Crestwood building. Bishop Brendan Cahill led a prayer and sprinkled holy water on the areas of the Humility Project that were vandalized just before Thanksgiving. Leaders from 6 different faiths across Victoria stood side by side, showing their support and solidarity.
HEB is hosting its 24th annual Feast of Sharing holiday dinner this week in Victoria. On Wednesday, a free meal will be served from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Victoria Community Center that's located at 2905 North Street. The event will also feature live music, arts and crafts, children's activities, and entertainment for all ages. This holiday season, HEB celebrates by giving thanks to its customers and bringing family, friends, and neighbors together.
Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Record-setting day today.
Record highs. Normally we're looking at record lows right now.
In December, it's not winter yet, but almost, right?
Well, the 21st is the official first day of winter, and here we are, 80 degrees. So I don't know, it was a warm one. Today we got up to 86. Little front up here, that was not going to be a major thing. This one out here will actually knock our temperature down later this week. But for tomorrow, it's going to be a warm one again. And we'll have more on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Mac. A growing oil industry support for a methane reduction rule could help it survive Trump's return. You can read this full Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com.
A shooting at a school in Madison, Wisconsin kills 3 people with several more wounded. It happened this morning in a study hall and reported to police by a second grader. Wisconsin police identified the shooter as 15-year-old student Natalie Rupnow, who went by the name Samantha. Police say she opened fire with a handgun at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, killing a teacher and another teenager. Rupnow also died and wounded 6 others. Those injuries range from minor to life-threatening. Members of the ATF were on the scene and assisting Madison police in the early stages of this investigation.
We're lucky to have great partners at the ATF. They obviously have a program that you're all aware of called the TRACE program. And so we're working with them to try to find the origin of this, and I have no doubt that we'll be able to do that with their help. They are amazing partners along with our partners from the FBI.
Authorities say officers did not fire their weapons. The motive for the shooting is under investigation. Abundant Life Christian School is a K-12 school with nearly 400 students. This brings us to our viewer poll tonight. Here's the question. What do you believe is the best and most important step to address school shootings? Is it stricter gun control laws? Is it increased school security measures? Or is it enhanced mental health support for students? Overwhelmingly still, 59% of our voters say increased school security measures is the most important step to address school shootings. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote and take part, and we thank you for voting.
Alarm bells are sounding after a number of reported drone sightings over sensitive areas in the U.S. in recent weeks. That includes Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. Officials say the military closed off the airspace around the base for hours because of a small group of drones, and they've been monitoring the airspace. At least a half dozen other states, such as New York and New Jersey, also are reporting drone sightings. Police departments along the East Coast are trying to track the aircraft. The drone sightings have gotten the attention of lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says he's going to co-sponsor legislation to give local enforcement more tools for drone detection. And now the FBI and state police in New Jersey have issued a warning to the public. They want people not to act if they see a drone in the sky. There's concern some people might try to shoot one down. Authorities say not all of the flying objects people see are drones. Some may be small planes. Federal and state authorities are also warning people not to shine lasers towards aircraft. They say more and more pilots are getting hit in the eyes with lasers, and that creates a potentially dangerous situation.
Much of the world is glued to the online world, and that includes children and teenagers. In Washington, members of both parties are pushing to pass a bill that aims to protect youth from potential threats.
But so far, things are at a standstill. John Lawrence reports.
Nearly half of all U.S. teenagers admit they're online constantly, according to a recent Pew Research Center survey.
It's about saving children's lives, and this needs to happen now.
Mary Rohde's teenage son Riley took his own life in 2021 after falling victim to an online blackmail scam. She's calling on lawmakers to advance the Kids Online Safety Act.
By passing KOSA, members of Congress can leave an enduring legacy of protection and accountability. That is what they are there for.
The Kids Online Safety Act mandates platforms to have safeguards in place for minors, including restricting access to their personal data and parental tools.
We need to have protections in the virtual space for children, just like we have in the physical space. And kids are dying.
The bill overwhelmingly passed through the Senate in July and advanced through the House Energy and Commerce Committee. However,
it needs a little more tweaking, and we'll do that. I think we can do it early next year and get that achievement done, and I'm grateful for all the hard work that's been done on it.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says the legislation is dead for now.
The Speaker is virtually alone in the United States Congress. Republicans in the House and the Senate favor it. Democrats in the House and the Senate strongly support it.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Facebook parent company Meta announces a new artificial intelligence model called Meta Motivo. It's a behavioral foundation model that controls virtual avatar movements to perform complex tasks. Motivo helps virtual avatars perform complex full-body tasks and interact more naturally. According to Meta, it can make the metaverse experience more seamless and immersive. Well, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now after Monday Night Football. Donald Trump is headed back to the White House, but a recent ruling confirms his legal battles are far from over.
Also ahead, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he supports the polio vaccine.
Welcome back. President-elect Donald Trump's return to the White House will not protect him from his so-called hush money case. Judge Juan Merchan ruled this evening that Trump has no immunity from prosecution regarding the guilty verdict he received from a jury earlier this year. A jury convicted Trump on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to an alleged affair with porn star Stormy Daniels. Merchan said the evidence and testimony during the 2024 trial relates, quote, entirely to unofficial conduct entitled to no immunity protections, unquote. The Manhattan District Attorney said it's possible for sentencing to be delayed until after Trump's second term. He said a sentence could also be imposed that does not include jail time.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he supports the polio vaccine. Kennedy's on Capitol Hill to lobby support for his nomination to be Health and Human Services Secretary. Reporters questioned him Monday on his history of vaccine skepticism when he said he now supports the polio vaccine. Kennedy plans to meet with over 24 Republican senators this week. A source familiar with his plans said.
Regular mammograms can detect breast cancer early, but it's far from a perfect technology.
In tonight's Medical Minute, a look at when there's a false positive result.
False positives on mammograms occur up to 10% of the time. This means that it may initially seem abnormal, but further testing reveals that it is not cancerous. And that may discourage women from continuing screening, according to a new study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine. Researchers found that after a false positive, women were up to 24% less likely to continue screening, especially if follow-up involved a repeated mammogram or biopsy. Having 2 false positives in a row also decreased screening rates. This is concerning because having a false positive is associated with an increase in the risk of breast cancer for at least 10 years. Regular mammograms and continued screening is crucial for catching cancer early. With this Medical Minute, I'm Zoreen Shah.
Well, this is known to be the most wonderful time of the year, and we want to see how you're slaying it. Share your holiday magic with us by sending in your best festive photos. We'll feature them on our social media channels every day until Christmas week. All you need to do is head to crossroadstoday.com to start submitting.
And good evening, everybody. Our temperature right now at 65 degrees. I'm going to have to stand correcting myself. Earlier, I thought we'd have low clouds and no fog. But now the skies have cleared. Now it's going to be fog, so it's going to be foggy tomorrow morning. Unbelievable. We were at 86 today. That broke the old record set back in 1933. Wow. Anyway, we've got a couple more warm days before the cooling weather comes in. We'll talk about that after this. Well, the unusually warm weather will continue for 2 more days, and then finally we have to get a little closer to December weather. Right now, look at this, 71 up in San Antonio, 68 in Dallas, but you'll see right about here is that little frontal system. I say little because it's really not moving in our direction. It's going to stall somewhere north of San Antonio, Austin, right about there, and that's where it's going to stay. We have to wait until Thursday for the next frontal system to actually push all the way down to the coast. There is a frontal system number 1. You can see it right about there. It is producing a little bit of light rain in northeast Texas and then on up the line. But this one coming out of the west coast will have a little bit more oomph in it, and that one's going to make it through our area and actually cool us back down to normal temperatures for this time of year. These are your lows and highs for the next couple of days. For tomorrow, 63 in the morning, 80 in the afternoon. On Wednesday, 63 in the morning, 80 in the afternoon. And then on Thursday after the front, 46 in the morning, and then up to about 67 as a high temperature, and that's a lot closer to normal. You can see temperatures around the area. Basically, Houston also 67 tonight and 68 in San Antonio. Pretty warm morning. Evening for December, can you believe? These are the forecast highs. Everybody, Houston, Del Rio, Laredo, everybody south of that will be above 80 degrees, while the cooler air is up north. But like I said, that front is going to stall and really not going to make it down to our area. And there's a reason for it. You can see the strong southerly winds. So it'll be breezy tomorrow, but it'll be coming up out of the south, and that's pumping up that moisture. Now, I do think that the temperature and the humidity are now getting very close, and we have no significant wind at this hour. Therefore, we're likely to have fog in the morning hours. And then as we get to Wednesday, you can see how the front actually pushes through the area. And by Thursday, you'll feel a cool north wind coming in, and then we may have to actually use a sweater by the time we get to the end of the weekend. And then we watch and wait. Now, this is the long-term view, just to give you an idea what's happening around the country. Rain, but not snow in the northeast. Here's the tail end of that little front that's not going to make it through. Then we move all the way to Tuesday, and we see the little front here on Wednesday, the one that's going to make it all the way to the coast. It has a chance for a little bit of rain. But behind that, we've got clear, dry air, and most of the country has got some fairly good weather for this time of the year, considering, because lots of folks are going to be traveling very soon. So we go all the way to Friday and Saturday, and we still have cool, nice weather, northerly winds, and things are looking pretty good. The only place that's going to have all kinds of problems is the northwest. So if you're looking at San Francisco north, you're going to have problems. But here we go Sunday, and by the time we get to Sunday, we get a return flow. In other words, the wind turns back around and starts giving us a little bit of low cloud cover for the and that might get us to a little bit of rain. But just to get an idea what's going on around the world, it's cold down to the Rockies. Right now it's mild in the Ohio Valley, but this air is going to shoot in that direction. And in fact, a classic signal of a La Nina year is that the storms come in the west coast, go up to the Canadian border, and then dive in that direction. So you're looking at tomorrow's high at 81 degrees in Port Lavaca, and in Cuero, you're looking at highs of about 81 degrees as well. Warm with a chance of a few showers late on Wednesday as the front comes through. Then Thursday through the weekend feels more like December. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Max with sports.
All right, thanks, Mac. And this Wednesday and Thursday, we have state championship games there with Shiner and Ganado. But before those games happen on Wednesday, we have the Battle of Victoria between East and West. Who will win? Find out here coming up in sports. All right, Crossroads. So we have made it here to championship week here with the last two teams remaining there in Shiner and Ganado. And we're going to look at the first team here, making the first time appearance in school history there in the Ganado Indians, as they are headed there to Jerry World with the shot to win its first title there on the gridiron. They've been dominant throughout the entire postseason. They don't plan on stopping. Now, after the game, again, they always seem even-keeled, right? Josh Sherman told his guys that no one's goal was to make it this far here to state, and it was to win it. While he couldn't be more proud of the staff for putting his guys in this position, the focus is getting one more win.
Man, I'm just so happy for all the kids. My heart's so full for each and every single one of them. The assistant coaches, the hours, the work that they've put in. We're not done yet. We have a goal that we still haven't reached, but to make it to this point for the first time in school history is definitely special to be a part of.
And Irvin and Ganado are hoping to have, again, a complete team effort there versus the Stanford Bulldogs. That'll, again, be this Thursday afternoon at 11 a.m. This now leads us here to today's viewer poll. Again, we know, again, all these players right there, it's a team effort for their team. But I wanted to ask just a specific question, who you thought would be the biggest impact player in order for Ganado to win their first state title this Thursday. And I had four options. We got here Bryce Ullman, running back Logan Burrs, wide receiver Austin Pena, or linebacker Landon Hicks. And they're in the 6 o'clock. A lot of you chose there Landon Hicks, and it looks like still even there. Landon Hicks going to get the nod right now there, again, being one of the impact players to look out for. But Bryce Ullman's another player you got to keep an eye on, and Logan Burrs and Austin Pena. So we'll see if all those players can make a big impact there for Ganado this Thursday afternoon. Now over to the hardwood. We have the Battle of Victoria there tomorrow night. We got Victoria East facing Victoria West, and West High School, that is. And tip-off will be there at 6:30 tomorrow night. And East heads in tomorrow's game there at 9-9, while West is going to be 4-6. And both teams trying to build confidence heading into district play. So just keep an eye on West senior there, Bo Woods, and then some other football stars you might recognize, Genesis Jeffries and Trevor Robinson. Then for East, look out again for Leyland Ring, and then also an East football player as well there in Braylon Vasquez to be huge there tomorrow night. And again, some other big news there going in the national-wise there with Sacramento State trying to move from the FCS to the FBS of their next season. They're also making headlines because guess what? They're in open discussions right now with former star quarterback Michael Vick. And Sacramento State is also planning to get a new stadium there. Again, $50 million in NIL, so they got money to use there to try to get new things there for their facilities this upcoming season. So if Vick becomes the head coach, though, the university will plan to get an established team around him and all. Then a quick also news here with goalie libero Carolyn Youngblood there. She was selected there the TGCA All-Star game there in Arlington, Texas there next July. Youngblood was selected along with 24 other juniors classified in 1 and 4A to play in this game. So congrats to Youngblood, and hoping she can make Goliad in that city proud. That's going to do it here in sports. Don and Shauna, back to you.
Max, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now. After Monday Night Football, we'll take a last look at your weather. See how a century-old schoolhouse in North Dakota becomes a holiday wonderland.
The Guinness World Record holder for the largest gingerbread village is now on display in New York City. Called Gingerbread Lane, it's the creation of one dedicated artist, John Lovich. He's a former executive chef, and so Lovich spends months baking and assembling the village, crafting iconic New York City landmarks with candy, icing, and gingerbread. With more than 25,000 pounds of gingerbread used, his village is a winter wonderland of detail and whimsy. The display is open inside the shops at Columbus Circle. Pretty incredible there.
And speaking of Christmas houses, if you want to get into the holiday spirit, this is a must-see if you live in North Dakota. A family in Blanchard in the eastern part of the state has turned their home into a massive Christmas display. There are plenty of Christmas ornaments, holiday trinkets, and of course a Christmas tree inside the home, of course. This home once stood as a schoolhouse built more than a century ago. One of the owners, Linda Johnson, has decorated the home she shares with her husband. Johnson comes from a big family. She has 10 brothers and sisters and enjoys transforming her home for her family to enjoy. That's one of the great things about this time of year. People put out the ornaments outside. Some of the lights they put on outside are fantastic. These huge trees and ornaments.
And you don't want to be outside putting up ornaments. You get a sunburn, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy to see
wipe
right
some
now.
sweat off your brow.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing that this weekend. I was up on a ladder putting the lights up and going, wow, and I'm sitting here doing this. So yes, the temperatures continue to be above normal for 2 more days. And then finally, by Thursday, we'll get a cool north wind, and it'll feel a lot more like the holidays. And also, we'll get rid of all this, icky humidity that we've had for the past couple of days. There's a second front coming in by the weekend that will just keep us on the warm, cool, and dry conditions. So there's a best chance of rain will be on Wednesday night as that front comes through.
All right. Well, it's a sweet and sticky celebration. Tomorrow is National Maple Syrup Day. Maple syrup comes from the sap of maple trees and was first collected and used by indigenous people in North America. European settlers later refined the process, and today Vermont takes the crown as the top U.S. producer of this golden goodness. So grab some pancakes, waffles, biscuits, whatever your favorite, and pour on the syrup and enjoy, because what better excuse do you need to treat yourself to some sticky, gooey, sweet
So it just
goodness.
comes from the tree.
Yeah, it's a sap.
Just the sap.
Sap.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk?
And all those maple trees in Vermont, they've been really a house for, really the
maple
home
syrup.
for maple syrup
Absolutely.
for
Yeah,
years.
for years.
Log cabin syrup, remember that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw the bottle, but I didn't know it came from the tree. I thought it was
Real maple
advertising.
syrup is the good stuff. So, well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Have a good one.